I'm ready.
Oh my goodness gracious. We're late. I mean, we're perfectly on time if you're watching this in replay. If you're watching this live, I apologize. We are super late. Oh my god. Oh my god. So as we wait for people to hop on here, I'm going to have a quick check here on the audio. I've got the microphone plugged in here. And I realized the last couple times I've done it, I've had the volume on too high, and the audio has actually sounded pretty crappy because it's been overmodulated. So let's see. How do we sound today? Much better. All right, so I've got you guys called up here. Got a lot of guests here this morning that have seen the videos. Got a lot of people walk up saying that they calling me by name to see Facebook Live. So I'm glad that these videos are doing what they're meant to do, and that is to help our guests feel like they know someone before they arrive here. So you come here and it's not going to be a whole sea of strange faces. Got some people hopping on. From Norway. Awesome. Wherever you're watching from, please let me know. I'd love to know where our fans are watching from. I'm like holding on to this cable because there's a pan. Look at this. A very hot pan right down there, and I don't want to burn my mic cable. So I think this has really helped the audio. So here we are. I'm having a shortness of breath, which is a habit that not a habit, but a symptom of when I have anxiety. I don't know what I'm anxious about. A lot of things right now. Just got a lot of things going on right now. Back working full time, balancing all of the things here at Rythmia. Kenneth, say hello to the people. Good, Kenneth.
Hello, everybody.
Kenneth's behind the camera. I'm gonna put this on. Kenneth works behind the camera, but Kenneth also works. Kenneth also works very hard behind the scenes here at Rythmia because, especially since coming back from mat leave, I have a lot of other responsibilities here at Rythmia, so I'm not in the kitchen hardly ever. But never fear, our amazing teams takes amazing care of the rest of the menus here. And Kenneth is a huge part of that. He runs the show. If it wasn't for Kenneth, none of us here would be eaten. I can tell you that. So Kenneth, I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Meg.
Thank you, Kenneth. Because there's a lot going on right now. I am teaching a couple of workshops here at Rythmia every week. I'm teaching yoga twice a week. I'm starting in ceremonies this week. I have a couple of others behind the scenes jobs that I'm doing. So there's just been a lot to juggle with being a new mom, and my brain, just a lot going on in my brain.
Okay.
Who else is watching? Are we disconnected?
Yeah.
Now we're connected.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Okay. We got Joe watching from Ohio. Makrela is asking how you doing. You're doing really good. George Bell saying hi from Stony Creek in the Great White North. Hi George, good to see you here. John Scott is watching from Quebec, Canada, currently just across the bridge in Ontario. My mom is watching. Hello, Mama Meg. Hello, Mama Pearson, Mama Terry. I'm trying to FaceTime you, Mom. And every time I try to FaceTime you, it rings twice and then it hangs up. So what's going on there? Have you not had your iPad turned on? Has your battery run out? Did you change your handle? I don't know what's going on. Normally it rings and rings and rings, and you just don't answer it if you're not home. But it's like hanging up on me after 1 or 2 rings. I don't know what's going on, Mom. Ann Christian is watching from Finland. Mimi says it sounds like the sound might be picking up from the phone and not the mic. Okay, how does it sound now? Kind of just unplugged it and plugged it back in. How is the mic now? Does it sound better? Rosemary is watching from Illinois. Yeah, it isn't. It sounds... Yeah, it's not working from the microphone, is it? You can't even hear me. I've got my volume maxed. Troubleshooting. Want to unplug it one more time and try it again, Kenneth? And if not, we're just going to have to go with the regular mic. This is because my microphone, I'm using an adapter for the iPhone, and I feel like maybe this no-name adapter is not doing the trick. How's it better now? Gina's watching from New Jersey! I'm just listening to the delay to see if it's... I don't know if it's any better. Can you guys tell me if it's any better? If it's not any better, I'm gonna unplug because this is super annoying. And if it's unnecessary, I feel like it's unnecessary. Okay, so what are we talking about here? right, guys, today. Woo! We're talking about protein. And it's funny because I've just had some conversations with some guests at lunch here today at Rythmia about plant-based diets and protein, and someone had asked me if I'd seen the Game Changers, and I said no, because what I've heard is that it's a bit too extreme on one side of the story, so I don't want to watch, I don't like that kind of extremism when it comes to food. But they did make a good point that the one good message that they thought was that it shared about protein and athleticism and how you can get everything you need from plants, and I think that is a great component of the story to tell. So I'm going to unplug this because it's not working and I don't want to be connected. So bye guys. I mean, hi, I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere. This is an unfortunate, sad thing that it's not working, but for Vita, I'll just have to talk really loud, and Kenneth, maybe turn up the volume. Maybe I can do it at the top. Yeah, crank it all the way. Okay, I'll talk loud. Kenneth will say close. Careful, I might blow you away with my eyelashes because they're ridiculous. Okay, so we're talking about plant-based protein. So I started thinking about this last week. What I was going to do. Yeah, it's better, right? So I decided I was going to do two things for you guys today. I'm going to show you, the average. So how do we figure out how much protein we need, first of all? So it's for most adults, it's 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, which is 0.36 grams of protein per pound. I work in pounds, here in Costa Rica we work in kilos. So if I were to think about 0.36 grams of protein per pound, like your average 155 pound person, pretty average weight, needs 56 grams of protein. Doesn't sound like a lot. What does that look like? I'm going to show you. So what does 56 grams of protein look like? Okay, so for breakfast, all it has to be, this is really, really simple. Breakfast, oatmeal. This much oatmeal. Like 2/3 of a cup of cooked oatmeal, I think, or 1/3 a cup of cooked oatmeal. And then you add in 3 tablespoons of hemp heart. So these are amazing Canadian grown hemp seeds. Throw those on top. They're also a great source of fiber and omega-3 fats. This right here is, I wrote it down, 14 grams of protein right here alone. And that oatmeal and that hemp heart, and that I've just thrown on the fruit for a little extra flavor. Breakfast, done. Boom, 14 grams of protein. For lunch, have yourself a big old bowl of soup with lentils in it, for example, because all we need is 3/4 cups of cooked lentils and a cup of broccoli. And then whatever else you want to have in your salad or your soup or on your plate. That here is going to add towards our protein, and that's going to give us another 16 grams. Right there, broccoli and lentils, another 16 grams. Pretty crazy. So then if you want to go and have a snack, you want a substantial snack, let me grab a spoon. Let's talk about having a slice of sprouted grain bread, like this one. Sprouted grain bread, and then we add in like a tablespoon of almond butter. Got our toasted grain bread. Oh, yum. There's your snack. And that's going to bring in another 6 grams of protein right there. This looks like a big old carb fest, but that's got 6 grams of protein in it. And then for dinner, we want to look at something like this. And then you can obviously add more to this, but this is just to show you all you need to get your protein is a 1/2 cup of quinoa. So this is cooked quinoa, 1/2 cup. A 1/2 cup of tofu. So this is a nice, you get yourself a nice sprouted tofu. And then a cup of cooked spinach. And right there you've got another 20 grams of protein. So this, my friends, is your 56 grams. This right here, without that extra almond butter. That is 56 grams of plant-based protein. What? Yeah, that's all you need. Pretty crazy, right? And of course you wouldn't want to do this exact same combination every day. You want to have a very varied diet when you're doing this type of eating. So you want to mix up the grains that you're using, and substitute your lentils sometimes for black beans that are also really high in protein. Kidney beans, black beans, and lentils are typically the highest in protein. Swap out your quinoa for amaranth, which is another great high protein grain. Brown rice is also a great protein grain. Swapping and mixing and matching your ingredients. Obviously using, instead of broccoli, sometimes adding in some cauliflower and carrots and other great stuff like that. But this is all you need for your 56 grams of protein. Really, really good. What are you waving at, Kenneth?
The lady on the other side say hello from the other side.
She's watching from the pool. I was like, what's happening? He keeps looking over there. I'm so confused. What up? We got some folks by the pool watching, tuning in. saying sending love. He am I saying that right? He Ray says, do we get the recipe, Meg? Well, there's no recipes really for this. This was just an example. I can write out in the comments exactly what I wrote down for these 56 grams. Kelly's saying hello from Rythmia. I'm watching from live across the pool. There we go. Dan is saying, hey, Eileen just started tuning in. Super cool. But what you might want the recipe for, and it's also really easy, adios,
Yes.
is what we're going to make next. And this is, if you've got gluten intolerance, turn away. We're making seitan, not Satan, seitan. We're making seitan this afternoon. So this is a super high protein that is made out of flour. What? So what is this? This is gluten-full flour. You can buy many different plant-based food products out there that are sold as like chicken tenders and beef and stuff like that. It's made from the same kind of combination of ingredients. And the base is gluten. The gluten of wheat flour, when processed in a certain way, becomes very meat-like in texture. It takes on any flavor that you give it as far as seasonings go, and it's used as a very common plant-based meat alternative. So I'm going to show you guys how to make it at home really easy. We're not going to go through the whole process. I'm going to show you some pictures because I did it at home yesterday. And it's a quick process for the most part, but there's one phase of it that takes a little while. So I'm going to call up, before I get my hands dirty, a picture that I'm going to show you halfway through so that kind of you can point at it. When I say now, I'll have you show this picture, but for now I'm just going to put it down there. So, what do you need to make seitan? Nothing but flour and water, my friends. So I've got myself a really big, two really big mixing bowls. I only need one. So I've got a really big mixing bowl. I'm going to throw in a kilo of flour. So 1 kilo. Typically you can buy flour in 1 kilo bags. So 1 kilo, really, really easy measurement. And then you need about a half of a liter, or just over like 2 cups and 3 tablespoons of water. I'm just going to pour that over my flour. It's just like we're making some sort of bread, but we're not adding anything but the flour and the water. You could add a pinch of salt, but I don't, because we end up using salt in the final seasoning stages. A thing that you can do, and what I did yesterday, to add in some seasoning to the actual seitan itself, is I used about a half, so about a cup of regular water and a cup of soy sauce. Or you could use tamari or whatever you want to use. I mean, there's no sense going gluten-free. It's using flour. The whole basis of the recipe is gluten. You can season it with half of it with soy sauce, and that's going to give a really rich umami flavor. So I'm using my spatula here to just start getting this mixed together. And what we're doing is we just want the water to really help start to bind this flour together. You can see that it's already, there's a nice elasticity forming, and that is the gluten starting to do its work, you know. The gluten, the reason why gluten-free recipes are so, I mean, they're getting better, because the food scientists have discovered a lot of great ingredients like xanthan gum and things like that can help bring better, and tapioca flours, bring better texture to gluten-free ingredients. But what gluten-free food is missing is that elasticity and that bounce. You know, like you press a piece of gluten bread and it bounces back because of the gluten. The minute you eliminate the gluten, you're not going to have that same delicious, spongy, soft texture. So what we're going to be doing here today is we're going to be mixing all of this flour up, and then we're going to be separating the starch from the gluten, because the gluten is where the protein is at. The starch is where the carbs are at, and we want to have a high protein, meat-like texture at the end of the day. So you see how this is all coming together here? So what I would do now is I would get my hands in there. I wish I brought plastic gloves, but that's okay. And I'm just going to use my hands to start really squeezing this together. So it's like, imagine you're making a bread. I used to own a bakery. You wouldn't know it by my dough handling skills. I'm not, it's funny, I owned a baker. I never was the baker. I did the cookies. The bread was never my forte. I've made a few loaves of bread in my day. I make a lot of banana bread, but it takes a lot of elbow grease. And to be honest, this morning I just did my very first weight workout with dumbbells in about 3 months. My arms are a little bit sore, so I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to do this for you guys. But you can see what's going on here is this is starting to form a bit of a dough shape. So once you have this all really sticking together, you're going to knead it like you would knead a normal loaf of bread, and you're going to end up with a nice mound. So it'll look like bread. And then what you're going to do Pretend this is it. Actually, I'm just gonna show you. Pretend that this is a beautiful, it's all stuck together. I've kneaded it a few times. So kneading is just like you put it, like I'm, you know, kneading it, put it down, give it a little, this is not obviously the way that it should look. Once it's all holding together, you kind of fold it over itself and push it, and fold it over itself and push it, da 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 da. And then it becomes nice and rubbery, and that's the gluten really being activated. And then after that, what we do is we take that whole piece and we run it under water. And as it's running under the water, you'll notice that the water starts becoming a nice milky white. And what we want to do is we want to actually now start taking it apart. What? Yeah, so we go through all of that effort to get it into a nice perfect mound, and then you start squeezing it. And we want to start separating all of the starches from the gluten. So all of this white in the water is the starch getting rinsed away. So what you end up with, and I'm going to show you in the picture, because this takes a few times. You probably, I think the camera's focusing on the pot and not the, yeah. Not that it really matters now. But it takes probably, I stopped counting yesterday, but I think it probably took me about 20 rinses. So kind of, if you want to show them this. This was when I was almost near done the process. Now is that translating? This was a picture I took yesterday, probably after about 12 rinses. So the little bits of white there is some of the starch that's still there, and the darker bits is the gluten. So that was about halfway through the process. I didn't take any more pictures after that. Because once it all comes together, it forms a nice little ball that you can hold in one hand that doesn't fall apart. It looks something like this. And then what you do with that raw ball is you throw it in some simmering water or vegetable broth and you cook it. And that's what I did with this. So this is the cooked version. So this is the gluten. You can see, look at how bouncy it is. And then once you have it cooked in water for 20 minutes, it comes out. I mean, this is a rough texture. This is not the ideal texture. I didn't knead it long enough, but this is the idea. Then you get these really chewy, toothy, high protein bits. And then last night for dinner, what I did is I just put some butter in the skillet with some coconut oil, usually non-stick. Then you just take this meat, and it's cooked, but it's pretty bland because we haven't done anything to it. So we want to sear it off in a pan. Give it a nice brown. Oops, I just turned it off instead of on to high. You give it a nice brown like you would do with like a chicken breast or something. But look at, you see how meaty that looks? And juicy. So we cooked this in vegetable broth, so we got a little extra flavor. But this is literally gluten, so obviously if you have any sort of gluten intolerance, this is not a recipe for you. But I'm blessed that I have no problem with gluten. I probably have a little bit of a problem with gluten, but I love it and I eat it anyway. So you boil it for 20 minutes. Once it's formed into the gluten ball, you boil it for 20 minutes, take it out, slice it, and cook it any other way you want. You can use it in stir fries, you can bake it, you can saute it in the pan. What I like to do is give it a nice brown on each side in some nice fat, and then I will add like soy sauce or something into the pan to give it a little extra umami flavor. Garlic powder, onion powder, curry powder, Asian 5-spice, any of your favorite seasonings. So this is kind of like tofu in that regard, that it will take on the flavor of anything that you add to it. Woo, we gotta play catch up here. Way back, play back. Dana says, sending love, I missed you all. Say hi to Josue. I will, Dana. Peg says, it's okay, I have your book. Eileen Grace, hi from Aileen in Colorado. We have people here from Colorado this week. Here at Rythmia. Eddie saying hello. Hi, Eddie, good to see you here. Dana's responding, saying she's in Grand Junction. We've got neighbors here. I miss you doing your food. Eddie, we miss you too. Dana saying, me too. Scott Anthony saying, excellent food. Thank you, Scott. Tiffany Lynn. Hi, Tiffany. So good to see you. Hi, Kenneth. Love you, lady. Can't want to come eat your food creation. Yeah, you're here soon. April.
Hi,
right?
Tiffany.
Eddie says, can you say hello to the young fellow Gabriel from Rythmia? So don't like Andy. Yes, I will, Eddie. Gabriel at the front desk. Mindy calling in from New Jersey. So that is it, you guys. So easy, right? Like little plant-based protein. Scoopy scoop. This pan, I turned it down instead of on high, so it's not cooking, but you get the picture. You can Google this online. There's ways to make this actually that's easier to involve so much of the rinsing or any of the rinsing. You can buy something called Vital Wheat Gluten, and it is actually a flour product that's made up just of the gluten. It's already, the starches are already separated. It comes as a flour. Then you combine it. You just go straight ahead to the boiling phase and you cook it. Or you can braise it. My first time I ever made seitan, I braised it. It was really, really delicious. So you can experiment with it. There's a million places you can look online, I'm sure by now. There's recipes to add chickpea flour and lots of other delicious things to do. So that is it. Dana's going to be back in December. Mindy's going to leave April 5th. Justin's tuning in. Hey Justin, so good to see you, my friend. So that is it, my friends. That is all I have for you guys today. 26 minutes. So good, right? Like 56 grams of protein from plants. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't eat anything other than plants. You know, I'm not about food rules. And I think that we can all afford to eat a little bit more than we do. This is the end of February. I have no more Sundays left in February, so I'll be coming to you guys live in March. What will it be? March 1st?
Yes.
Next Sunday?
First,
The 1st of March. With something new. I have no idea what the topic is yet. I'll have to come up with that this week. If you guys have any ideas, suggestions, let me know in the comments. I've been doing this. This is my 3rd year of these videos. I'm starting to run out of ideas, so throw me a bone. Or I'm just going to talk to you guys about nothing, like I do every week anyway.
Bye, Meg.
You have a beautiful weekend. Ciao.
Ciao.